Rick, the second question, Rick will go first, so we'll stagger it back and forth, okay?
Okay.
The first question is, as a candidate for chairman of the Mass GOP, please provide some specific examples of how you have or how you will reach out to those who are not enrolled as Republicans. Obviously, it's no secret that the majority of the people here who are enrolled are unenrolled voters.
Right. Well, again, just to point to my experience as an elected official, in 2011 I was inspired by all this work that I've done in the past, you know, going out there and educating candidates on local fundraising and how to win a race locally in a district heavily populated by Democrats and unenrolled. I had to win over unenrolled in my race for city council, and the best thing to do is to really knock on those doors, go door to door, and let people hear my plan, the plan that I knew I could be an effective leader and be honest and be straight and be a good representative for my constituents. Again, it's all about getting to the doors and knocking on those people's doors and asking them what's important to you, what issues are important to you, and then applying our Republican principles, because I believe that Republicans have the answers to what all Massachusetts voters are looking for. It's a matter of bringing it to the doors and bringing it to those unenrolled voters, listening to what's important to them, and again, applying what we know to be true and what we have the answers to is true. And you know, again, in 2010, when I worked for the state party in working with our House and Senate candidates, hugely important to reach out to those unenrolled. And I talked about micro-targeting with those candidates, looking for unenrolled who pulled Republican ballots in primaries. Very important to reach out to those folks. It's easy to look at that data and to pull those voters out there. And does that mean that I have a minute? Okay, 30 seconds. But so my experience is all about reaching to unenrolled voters. My own experience as an elected, and then of course working at the GOP as a field director and working with the Senate candidates and House candidates.
Would you like to repeat the question, please? Okay. As a candidate for chairman of the Mass GOP, please provide some specific examples of how you have reached out or will reach out to those who are not enrolled Republicans.
So I don't think it gets any more specific than this. I can promise everyone here tonight that if I'm elected chairman, my mother will switch from unenrolled to Republican. That is an absolute guarantee. As a matter of fact, a gentleman who runs a Lee Miles transmission, Steve Russo, who's a good friend of Priscilla Russo's, has also committed to me that he will change his registration, and you can tell him you heard that here, Priscilla, from unenrolled back to Republican. Look, this is a data analysis problem, okay? There are many thousands, tens, even hundreds of thousands of unenrolled voters who at some time in their life were enrolled as Republicans, okay? The historical data exists, all right? We need to go out and find who are those unenrolleds who were once Republicans. Okay? Once we know who they are, then we have to go find out why did they stop? Why did they change their enrollment? All right? Then we have to listen. We have to go to these folks, and we have to do it in a big way. Okay? We can't do it in a small way, and we have to understand what are the top issues. Then it comes down to the brand. All right? We've got to start communicating with all the voters. I have something in my plan I call the air war. When the Democrats try and raise your gas tax by 13 cents, we're going to put a mailer into every district. It's going to go to everyone, including Democrats and unenrolleds, and we will know by the people who respond who is interested in that district, and that will help us identify those unenrolleds on specific issues that will let us then target them to bring them back into the GOP fold.
Thank you.